Developed by Microids and released in 2017, Syberia 3 continues the story of Kate Walker, an American lawyer previously tasked with finding the heir to the Volberg estate. On this adventure, she joins the Ukols, a nomadic tribe from the titular Syberia, on their migration with the snow ostriches to the sacred lands, all this while being pursued by a persistent private detective and an evil-looking army guy. Now, I won't go into too many details, so not to spoil things, so if you don't know who Kate Walker or the Ukols are, I seriously recommend you start playing the first two games. Whilst you could play the game as a standalone experience, I feel that you get far more out of the game if you had an understanding of the previous story arcs. Throughout the story, you're sent on a wonderful rollercoaster ride of sea monsters, stereotypical villains, blatant vandalism, and creepy men lurking down dark alleyways.
You might happen across an unfortunate character, if you see what I'm getting at.
Yes, you run for it, Kate.
I really hope somebody called the police.
Oh, and let's not forget Kirk. No, not that Kirk. This Kirk.
Who are you?
My name is Kirk, Kate Walker. Kirk of the Ukol tribe. Do you remember the Ukols?
And oh yes, I did mention Kate has a tendency to break things, didn't I? On these adventures, Kate also does her best Richard B. Riddick impression.
The confined atmosphere here seems to be affecting you, Kate Walker.
And finds fun in running round in circles. Okay, I'm only joking there. That one's just a bug. But, on a serious note, whilst the story is a welcome addition to the series, and the graphics are perfectly fine for a game of this format, it's the bugs that have often been the biggest talking point of the game amongst its fans. Thankfully, the original control issues seem to have been resolved, although I have never played the game on release, so I don't have any personal comparison to make. What does happen though is an annoying tendency for Kate to get stuck on things like stairs, as well as the point and click mechanic generally not being suited to a 3D environment. Some of the puzzles and various actions in the game can also be annoying, as things don't seem to move or behave as they should. I'd often find myself struggling to move an object with a mouse due to very jerky movement. Perhaps I just wasn't doing it right, but regardless, I could say in my defence that it wasn't always intuitive what to do. There was also one point where I became trapped in an area and only managed to get out due to finding a fix in a forum that mentioned spamming the enter key while standing next to the gate. Thankfully, the gameplay is mostly good enough, with some occasionally interesting puzzles and fun elements to the design such as the roller coaster. Going back to the story, I found it to be a decent continuation of the series, with some memorable characters and the occasional light-hearted moments that I felt contributed to my enjoyment of the game.
But, Kate Walker, my clothes. I don't have any clothes.
There are a few options during conversations in the game, and mostly these are inconsequential, but occasionally some may influence the following scenes, albeit in a minor way. For a story-focused game, the dialogue is interesting enough, and the voice acting is acceptable, although not perfect. There are a few occasions where the subtitles don't match the audio, but thankfully that was only a very small percentage of the dialogue.
Thanks to you, the migration can get underway again.
There is plenty of text to read in documents that you pick up, with some of these also providing clues to the puzzles. The music of the game was mostly used in cutscenes, and the cutscenes themselves were of good quality, providing both interesting transitions and additional story. The only issue I found with them was that they were pre-rendered video and they seemed slightly low quality for watching in 1080p, and I can only imagine that being worse if you game at a higher resolution than that. Save games are automatically done on a semi-regular basis, mostly after completing key tasks, and with no manual options. They are accompanied by a spinning cogs graphic, and if you want to check on when the game is saved, simply look at the load option in the menu and you should see a thumbnail image along with a timestamp. While I would always prefer a manual option in addition to the automated one, I didn't have any issues myself, fortunately. Finally, the game ends earlier than I expected it to. While it does provide a conclusion to the game, I do feel that it leaves things a little bit on a cliffhanger. That's fine if it's an episodic series, with regular releases, but seeing as there was over a decade between the second and third instalments, it feels a little bit frustrating. Overall, I enjoyed the game enough to overcome its shortcomings, and I look forward to the next game in the series, The World Before. For fans of the series, it is definitely worth getting, and I'd still recommend the game to newcomers, providing they go into it allowing for there being a slight clunkiness to the control format. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, and please feel free to leave a comment below. Goodbye.
There! Job well done.
Looks like everybody's in place. Perfect.